Every match at this level feels like life and death to you. What do you mean by that?
I think I told myself that I wasn't tired enough, and and I told this to my team that I wasn't finishing the points tired.
I'm not a type of player. No disrespect to other players in the ranking. I'm not happy to be one of the best in what I do. And you know what? I might not achieve.
Of course, my goal is to get even higher in the ranking, to get this position as #1. But I know it's still a lot of work. It's all depends on the other players too, and definitely that's my biggest goal, next goal. So I actually didn't think about this statistic because I lost in Australia. So I think it was.
Rybakina advanced to the final of the Italian Open. She defeated a top 10 veteran, a U.S. Open champion, and a Roland Garros semi-finalist. However, none of those names come up when you ask her squad whose game caused them the most anxiety. Everything was on the verge of collapse this week thanks to a 20-year-old Filipino who had never won a 1,000 match. Stay tuned because Eala's post-match interview reveals why.
It is the 20-year-old sensation from the Philippines, Alex Eala, who's joining us after her 6-4 in the third set victory over Magdalena Frech out on Petrangeli. First of all, congratulations on the win. I watched that entire match. It was really kind of a symphony in 3 movements, right? You bageled her in the first set. She came back, won the second set 6-4, went up a break in the third, and then you turned it around and won in 3. What happened in sort of the last 20, 25 minutes of that match that allowed you to take control?
I think I told myself that I wasn't tired enough, and I told this to my team that I wasn't finishing the points tired enough. So maybe the intensity went down a little bit, and I tried my best to give that little extra push every single point, and it paid off.
That extra push is something that you talked to us a little bit about in Miami. You told us on the desk in Miami that you often tell your team that every match at this level feels like life and death to you. What do you mean by that?
Well, everybody is really good at this level, and anything can happen. And I think that's a beautiful thing about tennis. But at the same time, it's a profession that really keeps you on your toes and is really high pressure because every single match is a different circumstance. It's a different situation. And sometimes one match can change a lot for you.
The majority of players control their energy. Eala controls fatigue. She measures her level of fatigue as a performance indicator. She could tell the intensity had decreased when she wasn't exhausted. That self-awareness in the middle of a 20-year-old game is abnormal. And that's precisely what makes her dangerous. However, this is what no one is discussing. Her weakness was meant to be clay.
Especially when you're changing seasons, or for me in clay, is not my strongest surface. So every match is really a battle.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You grew up essentially at the Nadal Academy, where I believe they have a couple of clay courts,
yes.
And yet, as you point out, you've played very little as a professional on clay compared to how much you've played on hard. Are you starting to fall in love with the clay? Is it a work in progress? How are you digging it now?
Of course, I'm starting to build that relationship, especially at this level, because I've competed in clay definitely many times growing up, but playing as a professional obviously is a different game. I think this is my first season where I've really done kind of these high level tournaments. So I did the 500 in Linz, 500 in Stuttgart, and then straight into the thousands, and then Roland Garros, of course. So I'm finding my footing, and I know that I can do well. I'm a much better player physically, mentally than I was last year. And we've really been working hard, my team and I. So I'm really happy with how I played this match, and hopefully, the things we've been working on will.
This is Eala's very first professional high-level clay season. She was raised at the Rafa Nadal Academy, had clay training as a junior, and is currently regularly coached by Tony Nadal. She had, however, hardly used professional clay prior to this week. The majority of people entirely missed that plot.
Can keep working on it, then she's gonna get a lot of 3 points out of it. Honestly, I feel like today was the worst conditions for my game. Very wet and heavy, which I really hate. Indian ones always plays fast and hot, and it's great because I can rush opponents. But today I felt like I had to dig deep and just make balls and run, and not playing my favorite, game, but, my plan B, let's say.
You've had some obviously great results on the clay, semifinals, Roland Garros. What are the things that when you're playing well on clay, you're doing well, not just tennis-wise, but mentally, your view on the game?
I feel like one thing that I worked a lot after Madrid and something that I didn't do really well the last few years on the clay was just to bring my margin a little bit more inside the court. I feel like I was trying to, go for too big of shots, in times where I shouldn't. It's what Iga said when she started with her new coach, that she wants to be that wall and that, very solid player. I feel like that's what I've been missing the last few years on the clay. Obviously, my version, but it's very similar to what she said. And that's what, I really have to buy into. And, I want to see myself playing that way.
She actually forgets her accomplishments, so her coach needs to remind her of them. Despite being in the top 10 for 4 years running and having been to the Roland Garros semifinal, she continues to remark, "I might not achieve it." That is a competitor who is built to never feel adequate. It is not false modesty. On the other side of the draw, Rybakina was doing something covertly that no one could see.
Lots of time, and you, as you said, have so much experience,
Exactly.
so many great wins to be able to fall back on. You seem like you're in a great space right now. Where would you say your hunger is, your motivation, your passion?
I want to get back to where I was. I'm not a type of player. No disrespect to other players in the ranking. I'm not happy where I am right now. And that's my character. Like, even when I'm done with tennis, I don't like to do things, halfway. I like to be one of the best in what I do. And you know what? I might not achieve it. Who knows? But I'm going to try my best to, see myself again there. And, one thing that I have to keep reminding to myself is that what I have achieved in my life is pretty good enough. And that's what Tom has been telling me, just to keep it in the back of my mind, because sometimes I do forget what I've done.
Well, one of the many things we love about you is you've always been an all-in type of person. So we love that. Rome, the city, I know the Rome
food.
vibes are inspiring for you. You love this city.
I do. I like the food. I like when the weather is good. I like the conditions because it does play a little bit quicker. What's to hate about Rome?
Sakari freely acknowledges that IGA Swiatek's teaching attitude, particularly her "be the wall" instruction, served as the basis for her clay approach. She stated it aloud on camera, which is an uncommon cross-player philosophical borrow. Using someone else's template, she triumphed under the most difficult circumstances. When she encounters Rybakina, who is at the other extreme of the form spectrum, what will happen?
Hi, congrats. I heard that you have your own private stringer. Is that right?
Yes.
So what is the benefit of having that private stringer?
Well, he doesn't work only with me, but also some other few players. But it definitely better when one person is stringing your racket. He also suggests some things which I can adapt depending on the condition, and also tracking how the rackets are actually, if I need to change something or not. So I think it's a great benefit to have someone in the team like this.
Elena, you've had more success in the last, I think, 6 months against the top 10 than you ever had before in your career. I wonder if you could explain that, if there's a reason for it, do you think? Is it your focus against the top players, or is it just the fact that you're playing maybe better than you ever have?
Rybakina has defeated more players in the top 10 over the past 6 months than at any other point in her career. She made an admission that players hardly ever make in public. It is a real competitive disadvantage to play a late semifinal the night before an early final. She put it simply, logistics, no justifications. Her staff trusts her process because of her uncommon level of honesty. One event, 3 players, and 3 interviews demonstrated the direction of women's tennis. Eala is here to succeed, not to be a tail. Rybakina is demolishing the top ranking piece by piece, while Sakari is running on hunger and borrowed ideology. Subscribe if you want to be the one who truly knows what's going on tour. We explain what the highlights don't show you.
Elena, congrats. Arena's held the #1 ranking now for long over a year, almost 80 weeks consecutively. I wonder what your thoughts are on that, how she's been able to dominate. And now that you're at number 2 in the world after this week, do you think you start to think about the chances that you might have down the road of becoming number 1?
Well, it's a great achievement, of course, and to stay so long as number 1, you need to be very consistent, and she showed great tennis for the past couple of years. So, of course, my goal is to get even higher in the ranking, to get this position as number 1, but I know it's still a lot of work. It's all depends on the other players too, and yeah, definitely that's my biggest goal, next goal. So yeah, I will try to do it this year, and hopefully it happens.
How much of an advantage is it for you mentally knowing that you've never lost a final against Arena?
I actually didn't think about this statistic because I lost in Australia, so I think it was not this year, the previous, but well, it's as I always say, it's every day is different, every tournament is different, and you can play well one day and then the other day you wake up and not feel the greatest. So I feel like you need to always try to find a way. We know each other's game very well, so it's a lot about physical, I would say, also, because here the ball is heavy, the rallies are a little bit longer than on the other hard courts, which are a little bit quicker. So it's going to be a difficult match where we both going to try to serve well, that's for sure, put pressure, and I mean, we'll see what's going to happen.
Rybakina was informed by the interviewer that she had never lost against Sabalenka in a final. She immediately corrected him, stating that she had lost in Australia. She turned off an unfounded psychological benefit. What sets her apart from everyone else pursuing Sabalenka at the moment is her degree of mental clarity and refusal to accept cozy narratives. Even at 20, Ella uses the same mental compass.
What she said. And that's what, I really have to buy into, and, I want to see myself playing that way.
Speaking of Iga, that was one of your great wins this year. You played brilliant in Doha, making the semifinals over there. What are some of the things you've thought you've done very well this year in 26, and a few things you'd like to continue to get better?
Obviously, I want to improve that consistency. I want to have tournaments like, I never had, maybe the flashy results like win tournaments back to back. But I always, when I was top 10 for 4 years, I had very consistent, semifinals, finals, semifinals. That's what I want to see myself doing again. And then eventually win the tournaments. Obviously, starting the season, United Cup with 2 very good wins. Then with Iga and making the semis again after almost 2 years. It was something that I really, really missed. But then I feel like, I know I'm 30 years old, but sometimes I feel like I'm a junior in that mindset that...
30 is young.
Yeah, it is young, but sometimes I don't use my experience that, just to lower the expectations when I have to. But, I still have time. As you said, 30 is young, so we'll see.
Lots of
Eala and Fonseca are followed by entire countries, but she handles the pressure in a way that other athletes never do in public. First, I owe it to myself. Nor the nation, nor the fans. Herself. The majority of 20-year-olds still don't understand this psychological limit. Rybakina functions similarly. Internal, silent, unaffected by the commotion. This matchup may have been closer than anyone had anticipated because of it.
Well, I think it's all together. I think that I was always playing against top players well. Maybe the statistic is not the same, and I was losing these tough matches a bit more before, but I think with the years, with experience, I'm getting this consistency, so hopefully I can just keep on going. And also you get to know the players much more, so you play against the same player multiple times, so you know what to expect. So I think it's all together.
So what are you going to do between now and the final to recover and prepare to get the best performance on Sunday?
We're still gonna do some work on the court, but definitely I will try to rest and be as fresh as possible. It's a bit tricky also to play late matches, then you need to wake up for the early match. Even if it's at 11, you're still like waking up many more hours in advance, so it's a bit challenging, but we will see what we can do, and hopefully I can be prepared well.
Instead of traveling with a tournament stringer, Rybakina travels with her own private stringer. Every day, the temperature, humidity, and court speed are taken into consideration when adjusting each racket. The majority of fans are unaware of this slight increase, and there are seldom any mentions of it in the media. T may also help to explain why her ball feels different in Rome than it does elsewhere. The most significant revelation, however, occurred when she resisted the interviewers' attempts to flatter her.